This is my Finance 381 2-minute extra credit video. I decided to analyze Costco Wholesale Corporation, their short-term, long-term, and whether I would invest in the company. The company description: they quickly are a wholesale membership warehouse. They operate worldwide and they sell a variety of things from food to toys to jewelry to clothing. If I were to lend Costco a short-term loan, I would look at the liquidity ratios, and these consist of the current ratio, the quick ratio, and the cash ratio. The quick ratio is very similar to the current ratio, except the inventory is subtracted out of the assets. So this, for a service company, would be very vital. For a wholesale company, it would be very vital because you cannot pay your liabilities with inventory. And for a service company, these two ratios would not be very different because they're providing services and probably don't have much inventory. The cash ratio is what I like to focus on the most because it is the quickest way to pay off your liabilities. Here you can see that the current ratio is very high and the quick ratio is significantly lower, and this proves my statement prior to this slide that the inventory at Costco has a big effect on the current assets of Costco. The cash ratio falls just below the quick ratio, and you can see that they're all below 1, and this is a major problem. This shows that they don't have enough assets to cover every dollar in liabilities that they have right now. The financial leverage ratios are the equity multiplier and the time interest earned. The equity multiplier shows how many dollars in assets over the dollars in equity, and you would come out with a ratio. This should always be high, and it would show that they are using the equity correctly for assets. The time interest earned would be your operating income over interest expenses, and this is very good to look at for long-term investments or loans because it shows that their operations can easily cover their interest expenses, which the easier they cover their interest expenses, the easier they can pay back the loan long term. Here you can see the equity multiplier is very low and the time interest earned ratio is very high. The time interest earned being very high is very good. It shows that they have significant operating income to cover their interest expenses. But their equity multiplier shows that their assets to equity ratio is very low, and they could probably be using their equity more efficiently. If I were to want to invest in Costco, I would look at the return on equity, return on asset, and price to earnings ratios. The return on equity is the net income over equity. Your return on assets is the net income over assets, and the price to earnings ratio is the market value per share over the earnings per share. You can see that the price to earnings ratio is significantly higher than ROE and ROA. This means that consumers or investors are willing to pay high market prices for the earnings that they will receive, and the ROE, return on equity, is pretty high. Their net income to equity ratio, that shows that they're making, currently at 2015, about $21 per every dollar in equity that they have, and their return on assets is significantly lower. They're only returning about $6 per every dollar in asset, which is not very good. With these numbers, I would not invest in Costco, not right now. It shows that they're growing, but their numbers aren't high enough to convince me that they will stay. This is my extra credit 2-minute video, and my name is Mary Stoner, and I hope you enjoy.